Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/best of Redditor updates. My name is Void and I like to read things that I find on the interwebs for your listening pleasures. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Right, what have we got first up today then? So this one was posted by Be A Belly Be Gone, and the title says, "Final update, am I the warthole for not going to the wedding of my dad and his affair partner?" I'm going to go out on a whim and say probably not. Or this wouldn't have ended up here. Okay, so Be A Belly Be Gone is not the original poster. They are the person that compiled all of this together for us. The original poster is u/toptravel7135. We do have some trigger warnings for death, infidelity, and emotional abuse, and there is a mood spoiler for OP's gonna make it. Good! Originally posted November 26th, 2023. When I was 17, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2 years later, she passed away. During these 2 years, my dad was not around much. He was always working and going on business trips. My aunt and grandma took care of Mum. About 5 months after my mother passing, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend. I was pissed. I yelled at him how quickly he moved on from my mum when they decided to tell me that they had been in a relationship for 3 years. My dad had been cheating on my mum while she was dying. Oh my goodness, what an actual piece of excrement. His business trips were to meet his affair partner. I was so angry, I packed my stuff and left his house. I haven't spoken to him since that day. Now, I don't really blame you, OP, to be quite fair. Currently, I'm 25. The only family I speak to is an aunt who helped me when I left my dad's house. A few days ago, my aunt called me, asked me how I was, and then asked me if I heard from my dad. I said, why would I hear from him again? My aunt said Dad is getting married to his affair partner, and by going to his wedding, it would help us mend our relationship. I said, why would I do that? He's dead to me. There was a silence on the phone for a bit before my dad replied asking if that was what I felt about him. Ew, I don't like that at all. The aunt setting the OP up for a conversation about this with the dad literally being there, silently listening in. I hate that so much. I immediately cut the call when I heard his voice. I realised he was with my aunt when she made the call to me. I texted my aunt telling her I asked her not to tell my dad anything about me, and she agreed back then. She texted me saying that I was an asshole for saying what I said, and my dad is crushed hearing that, and that I should have moved on by now. I did not want to argue with someone who helped me, so I blocked her. Yeah, I do not blame the OP whatsoever. That's so icky. Just no. Why on earth should the OP forgive their dad when their dad was having a 3-year affair when their mum was going through the worst time of their life? That just shows how disgusting of a person the dad is. Only an actual piece of shit would do something like that. If he had fallen out of love with the mum and wanted to leave, fair enough, it happens. But to have a 3-year affair while your wife is actively dying is disgusting. Over the next 2 days, I got sent a wedding invitation to my mailbox. The only person in the family who knew my address was my aunt, and she gave my number to various members of the family. I am being bombarded with calls and texts from dad, uncles, cousins, aunts saying that I should give him a chance and come to the wedding. Some calling me names for saying what I said. I got a text from the affair partner saying my dad is thinking of postponing the wedding and I should just talk to him. For context, the affair partner was a friend of my mum and she knew she had cancer. My God, it gets worse. What the hell? I said it's not my fault if he postpones the wedding. I don't want to have a relationship with dad or her. They are trying to force it. It got quiet after that, but being told by so many people from my dad's side that I am an asshole did leave me conflicted, but I'm sticking to my guns. So, am I the asshole? asshole. No, absolutely not. Like, it is perfectly acceptable to walk away from any and or relationships that you feel do not serve you, that you have a negative feeling about. You know, that person might have done something, said something to you or to someone you're close to that makes you think they are not a good person and I don't want them around. And that is absolutely your right. And I don't care who it is either. You absolutely can walk away from relationships with family. That is perfectly acceptable to do. Nothing irks me more when people are like, they're family, so you have to forgive them. Nah, fuck that. A toxic person is a toxic person, no matter which way you swing it. It's just the way it is. Anyway, so then we have an update, December 20th, 2023, so a month later from the original post. Hello. First, I want to thank all who commented on the first post and all who messaged me. It really helped me stick with my decision not to go to the wedding. I wanted to update earlier, but it's been pretty hectic with work. So, after the many texts and calls from multiple family members, I sent a text to all the numbers detailing what Dad did and why I choose to be no contact with him. I then blocked all the numbers. I've changed my numbers but kept the old number in a separate phone to collect evidence if they start to harass me from random numbers. But luckily, nothing happened and I thought that was that. Honestly, whenever someone says in these posts, I thought that was that, those are just the famous last words, aren't they? Because that was absolutely not just that. A week or so after that, my aunt's fiance came to my apartment. He knows what time I get off work and was waiting for me in the parking lot. I was apprehensive, but he assured me he only wanted to talk. According to him, the text I sent has caused a storm in that family. He told me that some of the cousins who did not know what happened in the past started to question Dad and affair partner, and they started to get defensive and deny it, but someone revealed that it was true. This has caused a massive argument within the family, with some cousins pulling out of the wedding. Dad wanted to postpone the wedding so he can talk to me, but the affair partner threatened to leave him if he did that. The news of what Dad and affair partner did also reached some of their friends who were at one point friends of my mum as well. Some of them have also pulled out of the wedding, and this caused the affair partner to have a breakdown and start banning anyone who brings it up, family members included, from the wedding. According to Aunt's fiance, she is blaming this all on me, says I did this intentionally. I laughed at that. The wedding is still somehow happening. I, at this point, think that the OP's dad is very dense. Because, I mean, yeah, he's a crappy person, but, like, how is he just not embarrassed by the way his fiancée is behaving? Because they know what they did. They know what they did was wrong, disgusting, whatever. And the way that she is acting and banning everybody left, right, and centre, I'd be like, ugh, am I going to have to put up with that for the rest of my life? But then again, he is a crappy person too, so maybe he thinks that this is all normal behaviour. I asked him about my aunt and how all this started, and he said all he knows is that there was a conversation of how bad the family would look if I wasn't at the wedding, and that my aunt offered to call me. He said that he disagreed, but she did it anyway. He said that he is only here because he felt I needed to know what happened. I thanked him, but said I will be going completely no contact with her, and by extension him as well. He agreed, wished me well, and left. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm completely okay. I miss my aunt, I miss my mum, but I know what I did was the right thing. I'm currently staying with my girlfriend, and she's been cheering me up by coming up with absurd ways to ruin the wedding. As a lot of you said, I should try therapy, and I'm going to take that advice. Some of the comments has made me realise that I have bottled up a lot of grief and anger. I am super nervous about it, but I also feel it'll do me good. So once again, thank you for all your comments and advice. Ciao. I'm glad that the OP has the girlfriend's support, because my goodness, is their family an absolute dumpster fire. What the hell? So, comments on girlfriend's ideas. The very first idea she came up with was, let's go to the landfill and catch some rats and then release them at the wedding. It got progressively worse from that. That's rather inventive, yes. Obviously, this is just for fun, and I have no intention of going near the wedding, but reading some of the ideas here is giving me a good laugh. So then we have another update, December 22nd, 2024, so a year later. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I logged in today and saw a lot of messages asking me what happened and how I'm doing. I wasn't sure if I should write this or if anyone would even see it because I don't know if I'm doing it right, but here goes. For everyone asking what happened at the wedding, I don't know much. All I know is that they got married. Boo! Boo! No one from that family contacted me since then, and I didn't go asking around either. I'm at peace with it. As for me, things are different now. First, I want to thank everyone who reached out and asked how I've been holding up. The kind messages mean more than I can put into words. I'm getting better, slowly though, the journey hasn't been easy. A lot has changed since my last update. I'm single now and have moved to a new city. My ex, who I'll call Maya, and I separated about 4 months after my last post. We celebrated 2 years together in March and talked about our future, but I was a mess. Therapy started well, but I quickly realised just how many unresolved issues I had bottled up from losing my mum. I was struggling emotionally, crying at random, worrying for some thoughts that I might somehow turn into my dad, and spiraling with fears I couldn't control. Maya had dreams of marriage and kids, and I knew I wasn't in the right place to give her the future she deserved. It would have been very selfish of me to ask her to stay until I got better. We had a long, honest talk, lots of tears, and ultimately decided to part ways. It wasn't easy, but it was the best decision for the both of us. Maya and I still cared for each other deeply, and she, along with my friends, checked on me every day after the breakup. I wasn't left to face things alone, and for that I am so grateful. In July, I was offered the chance to move to the head office of my company in another city. After discussing it with my therapist, I decided it would be a good opportunity to change my surroundings and start fresh. In September, I made the move. My best friend used 25 days of his 30-day holiday to help me pack, move, and settle in. I can't overstate how much that meant to me. I have incredible friends. Oh, that's really cute. Your mate sounds great. I mean, come on. Like 25 of their 30 holiday days that I assume are for the year. That's so cute. Since then, I've been taking things one day at a time. The new office has been amazing. Everyone was so welcoming, which was a relief since I'd been anxious about starting over somewhere new. I now attend online therapy sessions twice a week and grief counselling in person here. It's been helping a lot. I'm in a much better headspace than I was before, though I still don't feel ready to date again. For now, I'm focusing on my career and on continuing to heal. Once again, thank you to everyone who supported me, whether through messages or just by caring enough to check in. It means the world. Ciao. And then we have a final update. I was not expecting another update after that, to be honest. I'm really glad that the OP is doing better and that they've moved and whatnot. Like, I know obviously there's a lot to be said for not like running from your problems, whatever. But I do feel if you feel like you are stagnant in where you are and that being where you are is preventing you from moving on, there is nothing wrong with just going, do you know what? I am done with this place and I am off. I think it's a good thing to do sometimes when there is just too many bad memories somewhere. So this next post was also posted a year later after the last one. Okay, so it seems my post has done the rounds on YouTube and TikTok, and now I've been getting a lot of messages recently asking for updates and what happened after and how I am. So I'm going to just give updates on the most asked questions here and be done with this. Ex-Dan and family, no idea, haven't heard from anyone from that family. My friend group, awesome as ever, glad to hear it, very glad to hear it. Where I live, my job, and my best friend's job, I think this is being asked due to me mentioning that my best friend got 30-day vacation. I live in Europe. That's all I will say about that. Also, someone figured out who I am and sent me some flowers to my office with the Reddit post attached on a card, and with a very kind and encouraging message. I asked around my friends and they swore they did not do it. So that was sweet and also unnerving. Ew, don't do that. Don't ever do that. If you manage to work out who someone is from any of these posts, don't send them stuff like that. That's so creepy. Also, any of the posts I read, don't go messaging the OPs, like pestering them for updates and stuff. Like, if they want to update, they will update. If they don't, they don't. Don't go messaging them and harassing them for updates, because some people just like to let off the steam, vent the stories, and, then forget about them. And that is fine. But yeah, don't go messaging people, harassing them for updates. Also, not only that, but even if they would be fine with someone messaging them for an update, I bet there is about 30 odd people doing that. So yeah, leave them alone. Maya, we're talking again. So, I met her for the first time since I moved in middle of this year at a friend's wedding. We both still have feelings, but just talking for now. Yeah, I would say definitely go slow on that one. Just to be sure, definitely need to make sure. I think a lot of people could do with making sure that they are in a good place before getting in a relationship, actually, because everyone's like, oh, well, if you can't have me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And yeah, I understand the sentiment, but also, if you're going through a lot of problems mentally, and then you know that, and you still go ahead and get into a relationship, I don't think that's fair on the other person, personally. And I don't think it's fair on yourself, because a lot of the time when you are going through stuff mentally, you can't really appreciate a relationship properly. There could be a lot of paranoia, there could be a lot of selfishness, there could be a lot of things, argumentativeness, combativeness in a relationship, which you probably should have worked on before getting into one, Now, editing me hopping in on the crap mic, just to say that, of course, there's massive nuances to what I've just said as well. Obviously, if you're in a relationship and then your mental health takes a turn, that is not to say, you should leave the relationship because it's not fair on the person. No, because you already know them, you already have a rapport with them, you already have probably gone through ups and downs with them and figured ways to work it out with you. I'm purely talking about if you are single, you are going through something, your head's not really in the right place, bringing in a partner at that point usually would not be fair on the partner and would not be fair on yourself, because relationships, as amazing as I'm sure they can be, they also bring in a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, especially at the start, when you're then more likely to hide the way you're feeling and let things fester. So obviously, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that somebody who has mental health issues does not deserve to be in a relationship. That is not at all what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if you are struggling mentally with something, take the time for yourself. If you are single, take advantage of the fact that you are single and are able to work through things without an outside voice. If that makes sense, that's all I'm saying, basically. I do think sometimes a lot more people should take some more time to be by themselves, just to work through some things before hopping into something else, basically. I hope that makes sense, because yeah, I didn't want anyone thinking that I'm trying to say that people who have mental health issues don't deserve a relationship, because no, we all to some degree these days have mental health issues. I just think it's really good when a lot of those issues are around relationships like this OP's, just to take that time and advantage of being a single person and go, I am going to work through some of these issues so I don't carry them into a relationship. So anyway, yeah, I hope that makes sense. I didn't want anyone thinking I was being mean, because that's not where I'm coming from. FYI, mentally ill person here herself, by the way, who does therapy weekly and is single. So me doing much better. Therapy has been amazing. It started off very bumpy, and I did not want to do it after a few sessions in the start, but my therapist has been great. Really helped me process what I needed to do. I also had gone to grief counselling, and again, one of the best things I have ever done. It was in a group setting, and I've become good friends with those there over the past year. I was really scared to do this because I was afraid that they would not take me seriously, because it had been some time since my mum died, and they would say, just get over it. But they were also welcoming from the start and made me open up better. Yeah, honestly, there is no time limit for how long you can suffer with grief. Grief isn't on a stop clock. Like, you don't just get, oh, you've got a year of grief, and then that's all you're allowed. Like, that's not how that works. So yeah, no, I'm glad that the OP did go and fought through that feeling of being like, well, should I be here? Do I belong here? It's been too long. Like, there is no time scale to how long you are allowed to grieve for. So my life is not all happy stuff, but still working on me, still getting better, but I am in a much better place mentally. So that's it. I'm not going to update anymore. I want to thank all of those who sent me kind messages. It helped me a lot. I'm just going to try and live my best life. I'm glad to hear it. I'm really glad to hear it. I think that's very normal and natural to be feeling quite nosy about that. Like, I would love to know how that's going. I wonder if the wife now, the new wife, is an absolute pain in the arse. I have a feeling she might be. The way that she started, like, as soon as people were calling her out on her poor behavior, because it's not like she got in a relationship with the OP's dad not knowing that he had a wife. She knew because she was flipping friends with her. So her behavior is just as despicable as his behavior. And then as soon as people start calling her out and being like, what the hell? One, we didn't know this. How dare you keep it a secret? Two, that's disgusting. She starts throwing an epic tantrum, banning people from the wedding and just blowing up, and it just speaks volumes to the type of person she is. It gives spoilt brat energy. Like, how dare you call me out on my absolute nonsense? I'm going to throw a tantrum now and you're all banned. But yeah, I'm glad the OP's doing better. Therapy is a great thing. It's a great tool. More people should use it. Absolutely. Anyway, let's have a look and see what the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post have to offer. So Griffin EJ says, also, someone figured out who I am, sent me some flowers to my office with the Reddit post attached on a card with a very kind and encouraging message. Also, I asked around my friends and they swore they did not do it, so that was sweet and also unnerving. Nope. That would have freaked me out completely. Boundaries, people. If the OOP wanted people to know who he was, he'd have posted his name and address. Precisely. It is overstepping insanely. Don't ever do that. I don't think any of you guys listening would ever do something like that, by the way. But just in case there is one of you sat there thinking, it'd be great to go and find out who the OP of any of these stories we read is and, you know, try and start communicating with them or sending them stuff. Don't do that. That is really creepy. So then Carifer, I've just noticed their tagline thing. It says, please kindly speak to the void. I am too busy. Listen, I am busy too. Thank you. I am hoping this was from someone in the family who happened to see it on Reddit and recognised OOP's story, but didn't want to admit who they were, because if it was a random Redditor, that is creepy AF. Yeah, I'm going to hold tightly to the idea that it is just like someone from the family who knew them, and I'm going to hold on to that and clutch that idea with both hands, because the thought that someone could have found out who they are, weird, from a Reddit post, how the hell they do it, that doesn't know them already, find out their address and send them those with the post attached. That's the weirdest part. That's like stalker behavior, mate. That's stalker behavior, and that does not fly here. That's so creepy. So yeah, for purpose of my sanity, we're gonna say it was probably someone from the family who recognized the story. And I want to end this one off just by saying, if you have a pair of tartars, if you have melons on your chest, make sure you're checking them weekly, just when you shower, for any changes, lumps, bumps, skin changes. You know, look in the mirror, lift your arms up in the air, and if the skin looks puckered, perhaps get that checked out. If you feel anything there's a little more lumpy than it should be, get it checked out. Any pains, anything, get it checked out, because honestly, it's probably nothing, but it could be something, and the earlier you get it, the better. I've had to do it, and I know it's not particularly nice having to flash some random dude. I mean, he wasn't really a random dude, he was a consultant, but still. you know, like a real high up doctor. But still, it's awkward. Of course it is. It's embarrassing. But it's better than ending up with cancer or having cancer and not catching it early enough. So make sure you're doing those checks. I will find something to link below on how to do that if you're not too sure what to do. But honestly, just anything that feels out of the norm. Even if you don't really know if you're checking it properly, it is better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Do not forget to leave a comment to please Big Al. He's always watching. I don't know, tell me, what can you tell me? Tell me what you're doing today. What are you doing today? Fill me in. I'm nosy. Clearly. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!